the last album you recorded there, Hammer Battalion. What is the maybe except from time, the biggest advantage to have your own space to record?
Oh, for sure, time.
Okay.
You know, time is obviously the best, because otherwise you pay for 2 weeks and then you go out, you know,
Yeah.
and it costs a lot of money. And we can make a month worth of working and then go back for another month if we like to.
Mm-hmm.
We can go on as long as we like, and that's just an amazing step. And also there is since Fredrik has done this 4 albums consecutively now, is getting better and better, and the studio is getting better, and you know, so things develop in the way we want it to develop, instead of going to somebody else's studio. Yeah. And meet a new producer perhaps every time, or a new engineer. So this is just very, very helpful. It's the best step, except for getting a new record company. I would say that's the best step for the band.
Also to invest maybe as a band in a studio.
Yeah,
because now technology makes it more possible, I think.
Exactly. I mean, it's just a new technology. It's very supreme in that matter. I mean, it's a totally different story now than it was in the 90s, where you paid an amazing amount of money to enter somebody else's studio with all that, and then you maybe just had. I mean, I've recorded an album. I think the 3rd album we did was recorded in 8 days. Across the Open Sea, it was recorded in 8 days, and that was really short. I mean, it's just too short.
Because now, does it have influence on your practice? You practice maybe still the same, or do you have? Well, we have plenty of time in the studio, so we can see what happens there. Does it also affect the writing? Really?
Yeah, no, well, not really the writing, but the process of recording is definitely affected, because there's no stress. Yeah. You don't go to the studio and spend 16 hours there. There's no reason for that. You spend 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 hours at the most, and then you go home again. Okay. And to get some new energy, you maybe wait a day or 2 and then go back. I mean, I never do vocals more than 2 days in between, so I can get enough power. And we could never do that in the 90s, because they cost too much money. Okay. So this is really one of the better steps we've taken.
Yeah, you already said you studied finance. Fredrik is maybe now the technical guy in the band. Do Anders and Thomas maybe have also their specific role?
Oh yeah, Thomas has his own printing company, and he's been working in the printing industry for a very long time. So he does all the merchandise for us, together with Rasmatas, who's a co-working company for us, and so he's taking care of all the designs for the band, and that's really helpful too. Anders is doing a lot of the MySpace and stuff like that. Okay. So yeah, we have a totally different organization now than we had in the 90s. But obviously, in the beginning of the 90s, we were kids. Everything was new.
So you matured as a band.
Oh, of course. I mean, and that is the only reason to actually stay alive, because if you don't, again, you will have another 10 years of somebody else taking all the money, and you go out and play, and when things break down, you have no money to buy new gear, and you come home and you have to go to work instead of making some money and paying your rent when you go back. I mean, we all have bills, and the problem in the 90s was that we got home with no money because somebody else made the money. So that's and somebody would say, oh, it's not all about making money. Of course not. I've been in this business since I was 20 years old, and if it was only about the money, then I would stay at my previous job, because I made a lot more money as a finance director than I do now. Okay. But this is my life, so it's worth it.